Hey YouTube, this is Tom at TM Aquatics, and I hope everyone's doing great. In today's video, I thought I'd take you around the fish room, show you all the different types of fish that are breeding here at TM Aquatics, show you all the juveniles and fish that we have available for sale, and we're going to talk about 3 new fish room firsts here at TM Aquatics. Anyways, I do hope you stick around and check this one out. Alright YouTube, we're going to go ahead and start by showing you all the different types of fish that we're currently breeding here in the fish room at TM Aquatics and the juveniles that are available for sale. It's probably not what you're expecting considering the focus of this fish room being on Corydoras and exotic Plecos. But the Plecos and the Corys haven't been spawning for us here the past few months. Now as we end summer and head towards fall and winter, that's when the Plecos, or at least the L134s, are going to start getting a little more frisky, and I'm hoping for a really good season out of the L134s, but they'll start spawning around September, October, like they did last year. I expect the same this year, but yeah, we haven't been getting anything out of the Plecos and Corys for the past few months, but again, hopefully that changes as we head into fall. We're expecting that, so that's why we need to clear out a lot of these other odds and ends that kept us busy over the summer. But in this 20-gallon long here, you can see we have a bunch of rainbow fish in here, and these are just dwarf neon rainbow fish. I was doing some maintenance in the 40 long that and the 55 that the adults are in, and noticed a bunch of fry swimming about the surface. So I scooped them all out, dropped a bunch in here. We have some in another tank as well, but I do have these available. I'm selling these things for $2 a piece. I believe, let's see, we have 22 of them have sold, but we still have quite a few left. Now these are about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, starting to show some coloration on them. Beautiful, healthy little dwarf neon rainbow fish, Praecox rainbow fish, but we do have a bunch of those as well. Now this group here is currently in my Duplicareus tank, my Corydoras Duplicareus. There you can see one of them right back there. And those come from my brother's fish room, and even though they're a young group of Corydoras, they've been spawning in this tank for me. But these rainbow fish are pretty aggressive feeders, and there are a couple of Bristlenose Plecos in here too, so those Corydoras, those Duplicareus eggs usually disappear pretty quick. Now if you look down here, that's actually a Corydoras Duplicareus egg. It's covered in a little bit of sand, but that is an egg right there. So far I've not made any attempt to collect any of the Duplicareus eggs or hatch them out. Just don't have the tank space right now, but once we clear out these rainbow fish and some Bristlenose Plecos, we'll hopefully start seeing more eggs and start collecting and hatching some out here at TM Aquatics. But the Duplicareus are absolutely beautiful Corydoras. My brother does have some of those available, so if you're interested, I do sell some of his fish on his behalf. So if you're interested in Duplicareus, let me know. We usually sell those for around $12 a piece, and beautiful Corydoras though. So let me know if you're interested in Duplicareus, or if you're interested in these dwarf neon rainbow fish. Again, sell them for only $2 a piece, which is pretty cheap, but at this point I just need to clear them out. Now heading over here to the 5 grow out tanks over here, as always I have a bunch of Bristlenose Plecos, and please somebody help get these out of my fish room. I do not focus on Bristlenose Plecos. In fact, I have separated all the males and adult males and adult females because I just don't want to breed any more Bristlenose Plecos. They're not a challenging fish to breed. They're a very simple fish to breed. Take a male, take a female, add water, put a cave in there, and you'll have Bristlenose Plecos. Not a big accomplishment to breed these, but still fun and exciting for some folks. I get it. Locally here, we just don't have a lot of outlets to get rid of them, and can quickly get overrun. I kind of coined these as the duckweed of the Pleco kingdom. Sometimes duckweed's nice in a tank, but it can also be a little overwhelming at times, and that's where we are with these Bristlenose Plecos. I am selling these on the Get Gills website. I think I'm selling the blue-eyed lemons like this. I think they're 4 for $15, which is a steal. I mean, my local fish store sells these for like, what, 15 bucks a piece, but I'm selling them 4 for 15. They're not real big, maybe an inch, inch and a quarter for scale. I'll just kind of put my finger up there so you can get an idea of the size of these things. And, you know, but at that price, who cares? It doesn't take long for them to grow out. Next to them, we have more blue-eyed lemon Bushynose, and there's probably, I don't know, 100, 120 in this tank. There's probably 100 plus still in this tank. Also in this tank, I am babysitting or fish sitting some swordtails for my son, who recently moved back to Minnesota from Kansas. Not sure what kind of swordtails or color you would call that. Pretty common. You see these at Petco, PetSmart. You know, see them at most of the LFS. Pretty common color, but they've been dropping a ton of fry in here. We do have a bunch available that are a little bit larger. You can see them up here. Here's a couple. Over here we probably have, I don't know, another dozen or so. And then there's probably 1.5 to 2 dozen little smaller ones. But these larger ones, you know, we're just letting them go for a couple bucks as well on the Get Gills website. They're unsexed at this point. They don't start displaying that swordtail or differences in the sex at such a young age. But these guys are probably, again, I'll just kind of stick my hand up there for scale, maybe an inch, inch and a quarter as well. So if you want some swords, I think they're $2 a piece on Get Gills. But anyways, also in this tank we have a bunch of super red Bushynose. Again, these are smaller, inch and a quarter or so. We're probably down to maybe 30 or 40. Been selling them 3 packs for like 20 bucks or something on Get Gills. And then over here we have another tank full of blue-eyed lemon Bushynose. And this tank, just a bunch of stuff we got to clear out. A bunch of endlers and Java fern or Java moss we got to get rid of. Nothing over there really for sale. But that's what we got going on over here in the grow tanks, and we need to reclaim all of these. So all these fish need to go, which is why they're priced so cheap on Get Gills. Now down here in this lower 75, I have a pair of koi angelfish, and these are also my son's that I am fish sitting for him until he can get his new tank set up. And they came in pretty rough shape. I had to condition them and put a little size and weight on them. But fortunate, he had a male and female. He didn't know that. He just had 2 of them. And I'm like, son, I believe you got a boy and a girl there. So if you don't mind, I'd like to keep them a little bit and see if we can't get them to spawn. So we did, and they spawned and spawned and spawned. And as you can see, we have a bunch of angelfish fry down here. I guess they'd be considered juveniles at this point. Fry, juveniles. At what point do you stop calling them fry and start calling them juveniles? But anyways, we have a spawn here. And this is a second spawn from them. And I didn't intend to grow any of these out, but these 2 angelfish are such good parents that they were able to raise these out naturally in this tank. They defended them, and obviously the numbers have been cut down from what they spawned. I mean, goodness sakes, they spawn 300-400 eggs at a time. I think there's probably 50 to 60 survivors in there, but they are doing absolutely fantastic, and you can see how protective mom and dad are. I mean, they don't want any part of this camera. They don't like that at all. But nothing special about these koi angel, just your basic common koi angel, standard fins. Beautiful fish though. One of my favorite angelfish of all time are the koi angelfish, simply because each one is different. Each one is unique, just like snowflakes and fingerprints. Each koi angelfish has a different pattern, and these wouldn't be considered high coverage by any stretch, but maybe they'll kick out some high coverage juveniles or fry. I guess time will tell, but a lot of these fry are really, really cool looking already at such a small size. But so we have 50 or 60 over here, and this was spawn number 2 for this family. Now they have spawned a couple more times since, and they really don't try to protect or raise those eggs. It's kind of interesting because they allow the fry to eat their eggs, and they don't. It doesn't bother them at all, I guess. But yeah, anyways, so back over here, we have even more angelfish. Let's go check these guys out. All right, so over here on this top rack of 10-gallon tanks, we have koi angelfish fry in here, more koi angelfish, more koi angelfish, and then down here in this 40 breeder, we have even more. Let's take a closer look at these guys. And you'll see the different patterns and how unique each one is and how different each one is from the other. But just beautiful little juveniles, really healthy, nice looking fins. Everything looks great on these guys. Now they're way too small and young to sell and ship yet. They're gonna need another month here probably, but they're coming along real nice. And this group here, along with these 2 tanks and that 40 breeder, those are all out of the first spawn from that pair of koi angels. That was their very first spawn together as a pair. And then the other juveniles that are over in that tank, that was their second spawn ever. And they did an incredible, amazing job protecting those fry, being first-time parents. And I'm surprised that we still have 50 or 60 in that tank. But anyways, that's what I love about these koi angels, just how different each one of these patterns are. I'm hoping some of them have some high coverage. I like to keep some of those and maybe breed that out a little more. Look at this guy here with like that black cap on his head. Watch when he turns. He's just got like a black crown on his head. Just super cool. There's probably a good 40 or 50 in each one of these tanks here. And then we have probably 100 or so down here. And again, this was planned. This spawn here was planned. I wanted to grow or hatch a spawn from those koi angels. The spawn and the fry that are in the tank was not planned, but once they did spawn and they were doing such a good job protecting those eggs, each morning I'd come down when the lights came on expecting those eggs would be gone, and they weren't. And now we have another 50 or 60 in with the parents right now. But angelfish are not difficult to breed. The problem with angelfish, though, is they have such large spawns that you need a lot of tanks and a lot of water volume to grow these things out correctly. I mean, daily water changes and a lot of live baby brine shrimp to get them to grow out nice and healthy with good fins. And yeah, that's the problem with angelfish, is not breeding them and getting them to hatch. It's having the space for all the fry, because their spawns are like 300 to 400 eggs, sometimes even more. So anyways, enough on the koi angels. They'll be available here in the very near future. Obviously they need a little more time to grow out, and that is the thumbnail on today's video as well. But we'll be having these pretty soon, and they're gonna be pretty affordable because we're gonna need to clear them out once they're ready. So anyways, enough on the koi angels. Let's keep moving along. Alright, so behind us now is this 40-gallon breeder, and this is where we have our Lamprologus Ocellatus gold shell dwellers. Now this tank is in really rough shape right now. It's dirty. We have a cyano issue that we're being challenged with, but the group of fish in here, they are spawning like crazy right now, so we're not going to disrupt anything. What we have going on, even though it's unsightly to see, it's working. And these fish are really starting to produce, and I don't want to disrupt that. We've already had a lot of disruption here in this tank. This group of fish, these are youngsters that were out of my original breeding group, and I replaced my original breeders. They just kept killing each other off to the point where it was down to just a few fish, a trio, and I ended up rehoming that trio and started out with 11 youngsters that I kind of held back for myself. I had 8 females and 3 males. We're now down to 6 females and 1 male. We had a mutiny on our hands here not too long ago where the other 2 males were showing no interest in the females. They just kind of hung out together. They were a couple of brothers that kind of claimed the right side of the tank here. Well, one of the brothers decided to bite the eyeballs out of his other brother, virtually killing that fish, and then he turned his aggression on a couple of the females, And then he turned his aggression on my alpha male, my tank boss right here, who was actively breeding with a few females at that time. So he took over the tank, he ate and killed all the fry that were in the tank, and killed a couple of females, killed his brother, and I decided to remove him. He was just way too aggressive and wasn't showing any interest in spawning with the females. Nearly killed my male here, so I got him back nice and healthy, removed the other male, and this guy here is actively spawning with several females right now, and we have a few fry already. And let me go ahead and show you this. So this female here, she has a group of fry, and they're usually hanging out down here in this pocket, and that shell right there at my fingertip is where most of the fry are currently hanging out. So I don't know if we come down here if you're going to be able to see any of the fry moving around. Probably not. They're a little startled, so they all kind of swam for cover. But they definitely come out when we feed brine shrimp. They'll start. There's one that came out of that shell, and she just kind of pushed them back in. I don't know if you saw that or not. Over here, this female here, the shell that she's on top of right now and the one directly behind her are both housing some fry in them. And then she had a few fry that were out on the sand here not too long ago, but it looks like she chased most of them back into cover. Now back here in the very, very back, that female, she has a really large spawn, probably 20, 25 juveniles. She had her entire group out feeding earlier. I just saw a couple of them moving around. Looks like most of them are back in the shell, but there are a couple of them moving around at the base of that one shell directly underneath her. You can see that little juvenile. Here comes a few. There's 3 of them, 4 of them. I see 4 or 5 right now. Maybe you saw that, but anyways, between these 3 females, we probably have, I'm hoping, 40 fry at least, which would be nice. But we do have some others here in the fish room. We have 2 right here. There's the only 2 surviving from an earlier spawn. Over here we have 5 that are growing out. These are much smaller, but we have 5 in this fry box. But what's available right now is we have these guys up here, and they're just an absolutely gorgeous group of Ocellatus. These guys are waiting for new homes. And I think I have these on Get Gills. I think they're on sale for, I don't know, 14 bucks or something like that. Try to find these things under 20 bucks. It's not easy to do, especially at 14 bucks. That's a pretty good price on these. But as you can see, we probably have 15, 16 or so, maybe more, I don't know, up here in this tank. And then we have another 7 or 8 in another tank. So if you're looking for Lamprologus, Ocellatus, gold shell dwellers, we have a bunch. Again, they're on Get Gills. If you want to work out a deal for a larger quantity than what's on Get Gills, reach out to me in the email. We'll work something out. And I'll consider a volume discount, maybe take $1 or $2 off if you buy like 10 plus. But anyways, Lamprologus, Ocellatus. Here's some more rainbow fish that are available. And over here, some Daisy's blue rice fish. These are not for sale. I'm going to use these as dithers in one of my Corydoras tanks. But anyways, those are some of the fry we have growing out here at TM Aquatics. Let's check out the couple more fish that we have. We have some Plecos, and then we'll talk about the 3 fish room first here at TM Aquatics. All right, so we're going to head back up to these 2 end tanks here, these 2 10-gallon tanks. I'm going to slide my stool over so you can get up there and take a closer look. Turn on my light, and we're going to look down in these caves here. We're going to shine in the caves and try not to blind the camera, but you can see inside that cave there we have a bunch of L260 Queen Arabesque Plecos and a bunch over here. Now these guys are not quite the size that I like to sell them at, but they are a sellable size. So I don't know, I might throw these up on Get Gills. I think I have 16 of them right now. They're about 1.25 inches. Absolutely beautiful fish. I'll probably keep some of these for myself, but with that being said, I would let probably 8 of these go. And we're going to have to sell these for, I don't know, I'm going to have to figure out the price. I got to figure out how much we have into them as far as our expenses here, and then figure out a price on them. But they're probably going to be in the $30 to $40 range. They might be on the low end of that. They might be on the high end. Just depends on what our numbers show as far as costs going into raising these fish. We do have, aren't they beautiful? L260 Queen Arabesque. So we'll just say we have 8 of them available. Over here, we have more. Now, I don't see many in the caves. There's just a couple in the very back. This is a younger group. I think most of them are back here underneath the sponge filter. Yeah. I think we have 20 to 22 in here. These guys are much younger, much smaller. Again, these guys are only 3/4 of an inch. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch crammed underneath the sponge filter. Those are all L260s. These guys are several months away. I'm not going to be shipping during fall or winter, so chances are this group here won't be large enough to ship by the time we shut shipping down September, October. These guys, I guess, are ready to go. So these guys probably aren't going to be available until spring, because I am not shipping during the winter. I'm not going to worry about heat packs and fish freezing and all that crud. It just isn't worth it. So, and then down here we have a bunch of L134 leopard frog plecos. I really don't know how many are in here. There's one underneath that decoration. Another one there. Last time I tried counting, there were like 20 to 25. These guys are about 1.5 inches long, maybe 1 3/4 inches. With that being said, I think I did have someone local that was all gung-ho on buying some of these, and then he just flaked out, stopped talking, and stopped communicating, like right before he was going to come over and pick them up. If you're not serious about buying some, please don't inquire. Please don't waste my time like that. It happens so often, you wouldn't believe how often that happens. And it's really frustrating to have someone express all this interest, and then when it gets to the point of actually, you know, transferring the money and getting the fish shipped, you just stop talking and communicating. If you change your mind, tell me. Just don't flake out and stop talking. That's just, it's rude, it's unprofessional. But we have about, I'm going to say, 20, 25 in here. So I know I have at least 8 available. We got some beauties. I mean, look at that unique pattern on that, those spots on that guy. That is amazing. I might keep him for myself. But so we have probably 8 L134s available. Now these guys are a little higher on the price tag. These are 50 to 55 bucks a piece. I should note that I only ship Corydoras and Plecos via UPS overnight. We have 100% live arrival when using overnight services. I don't trust the post office right now, so I will not use the post office. And I don't like to ship 2-day because UPS doesn't prioritize 2-day like they do their overnight shipments. And I've had some personal shipments come in via UPS 2-day that took 4 and 5 days. So I'm not going to risk that. And overnight shipping is going to cost more money, but it's in the best interest of the fish. And if you're not willing to pay for the best possible service in the best interest of the fish, then we can't do business. It's just the way it is. But we have some beautiful, beautiful L134s available. Like I said, probably we'll say 8 at this point. So if you're interested, let me know. Anyways, we talked about some fish room first here at TM Aquatics. So let's go ahead and talk about the fish room first. It's not what you think. All right, we have 3 fish room firsts here at TM Aquatics, and we are excited about each and every one of these because they are not easy fish to breed. Now this tank here, we are looking at my CW49 tank, and this is the black diamond Corydoras. These are not panda Corys. These are a much different fish, but they are, or can be, a challenging species to spawn. And looky right here. Now I did show this fish here in a previous video. They spawned, I pulled eggs, and out of, I don't know, 20, 25 eggs, I only ended up with one juvenile. And there's that fish right there. But what I didn't know is this guy right here had a couple of siblings. And those siblings are the same size, but they grew out in the tank. I don't know if you can see it right there, center of the screen behind the Java moss, kind of where I'm pointing the camera. There's another one. That's the one. Here's the other one. And then the third one, I don't see, but anyways, needless to say, we have 3 juvenile CW49s here. One that we knew about, 2 that hatched out and grew out naturally in the tank. Once I saw the other fish, I took him out of the fry box and let him have the roam of the tank. So we are super excited to have 3 successful fry growing out here at TM Aquatics. Now, I'm sure there's some people out here that are watching this that, you know, probably breed these things like they're panda Corys or albino Corys. And if that's the case, good for you. We've not had a lot of luck here with this species. We're still learning about them, trying to figure out what triggers them and what we can do to increase productivity. But we're just happy to have a successful spawning and have 3 new juveniles added to the group. So that is one. Let's go check out the next surprise fish room first here at TM Aquatics. So down here in this 5-gallon tank, really excited about this. I don't know how easy it's going to be to see these. We'll do our best. Okay. Back on the sponge filter, you can see that tail sticking out right there. We're going to try to get a much better picture. Do you see that little orange and black Pleco there? That is an L397. Oh, there's another one back. Is that another one? I can't really see when I'm... Yeah, there's another one back there too. Right behind the lift tube, center of the frame right there, behind the lift tube, and then another one down here. Oh, and there's the other ones. Oh, they're putting on some nice size. See that? These are L397s, and to my knowledge, we have 4 of them. There was a 5th one, but I think he passed away. I've only seen 4 of them here. Oh, we'll check it out in the reflection. Oh, I don't know if we can pick that up on camera or not. Gorgeous little fish, though. The L397. This is our first successful spawn. They've been spawning, the adults have been spawning regularly, but the spawns keep disappearing. So I had 2 more spawns disappear this week. I do have a female trapped right now, so I made the decision, effective now, moving forward, I'm going to be pulling every spawn from here on out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we only have 4, but super excited about this because these are just stunning, stunning little fish. And what's really neat about the L397, the juveniles are so much more colorful than the adults. I like the L134s when they become adults because their patterns get broken up and they're just really super cool. But on these 397s, I like the adult or the juvenile colorations a lot more, just a lot more vivid. But anyways, another fish room first, the L397. Super excited. These are not for sale. These are staying here. I ain't getting rid of these, but my plan is to keep breeding these in much larger numbers and make them available for everyone else. So anyways, the L397, another fish room first here at TM Aquatics. Let's look at the 3rd and final fish room first here at TM Aquatics. All right, while this isn't a fish room first, before we do that final and 3rd fish room first, I just want to point out I still have a couple of red coral pencilfish, and these 2, see one right there and then the other one right here. These are 2 juveniles that I grew out from my original adults that I had. I've since lost all the adults, but they left me 2 fry, and these guys were fish room first. And I got fortunate enough to end up with 1 male and 1 female. And I just want to say they've been spawning in this tank. I've seen a couple of fry here in this tank. I'm looking for them right now. I just don't see any. But they've got a couple of fry about maybe between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch somewhere in here as well. And then there's another one that I netted out and put up in here with my Corydoras axelrodi. I don't see that one either, but needless to say, the red coral pencilfish were a fish room first as well. Ended up with a male and a female, and now they're starting to spawn for me here at TM Aquatics, so we're really excited. But anyways, below this tank here, I don't know if I've shown this tank on video or not. This is where I have some honeycomb catfish. There's a couple down there. Just absolutely cute, really super cute fish, but highly nocturnal. They don't come out until the lights are off completely. They just don't like to come out. I drop them in with my Bloody Mary shrimp. Changed the water parameters a little bit, bumped up the temp. The shrimp don't seem to mind. I got a few buried females in there, as you can see. But a couple of weeks ago, I was feeding some freeze-dried bloodworms when I turned all the fish room lights off. And I kept feeling something bumping my fingertip as I was putting the freeze-dried bloodworm in the tank. And lo and behold, it was a juvenile honeycomb catfish, about 1 inch long. Already fully developed, swimming freely, looked just like the parents. And then last week I saw yet another one about 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch, clearly from a different spawn. But we have 2 males and 2 females, very easy fish to sex. And they're doing great. I have a pair that likes this triangle Pleco cave here. The other ones like to kind of hang out in these seed pods that I bought from TM Aquatics. I forget what type of seed pods these are, but 1 Fish, 2 Fish, ROC told me about them. And they've been working out great. So unfortunately I can't find the juvenile that's in here. He's hiding somewhere and the lights are on, but the 3rd and final fish room first here at TM Aquatics, the honeycomb catfish. And hopefully we have many, many more spawns and grow out many, many more fry. So yeah, really excited about all 3. Tell me down below which one of those 3 new fish room firsts would you be most excited about? The CW49 Corydoras, Black Diamond Corydoras, the honeycomb catfish, or the L397 Pleco? Let me know your thoughts down below. Which one would you like the most? All right, YouTube, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up right there. Like always, this video got a little longer than I was hoping for, but hopefully most of you stuck around and enjoyed it. If any of the juveniles or fish that we have available here at TM Aquatics is of interest, again, a lot of them can be found on Get Gills. Otherwise, send me an email. Again, the email is down in the description. Send me an email and we can work out some details. And again, don't forget to tell me which one of those 3 fish room first, the L397, the CW49, or the honeycomb catfish. If this was your fish room, which one would make you most excited? Anyways, I do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't subscribed, take a moment, just hit that subscribe button and help me out. Anyways, greatly appreciate your time, and until the next one, we'll catch you all later.